Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to do something, well, truly fascinating. We're deconstructing a chilling local legend, the haunting of Eden Hill School, to really understand the exact anatomy of a true horror narrative. You know, whether you're a total skeptic or a die-hard believer in the paranormal, breaking down a ghost story from the ground up gives us this incredible insight into human psychology, fear, and folklore. So let's map out this terrifying firsthand account, step by step. So what happens when you stay too late at Eden Hills School? We all know that weird, creeping feeling of being somewhere you're supposed to be, but just at the completely wrong time, right? Well, our source material centers on a student grinding through final exam prep. Usually, the school library shuts down completely by 5 in the evening, but because of finals, administration kept it open until midnight. Our protagonists lived just a short walk away, so they figured, hey, might as well take advantage of the quiet. Section 1, the late night library. Let's see exactly how this tension builds. Our student gets to the library around 6 p.m. Normally, they pack up and be out of there by 8 p.m., a time when you still have at least a few stragglers hanging around. But tonight, they get completely absorbed in their work. Suddenly, they check the clock, and it's 10 p.m. They're still studying, and they are entirely alone. Absolute silence. The totally mundane library transforms into this trap of complete, eerie quiet. Our student only has, maybe 10 or 15 minutes of work left, so they figure they'll just push through. But then, right when they're totally lost in their books, that silence is broken. They hear the distinct, dragging sound of someone limping. Panic sets in immediately. They grab their stuff and make a run for the library doors. To get to the exit, they have to run down this super long school corridor and turn right at the very end to hit the front door. As they're rushing down this hall, they spot this uncomfortable figure standing all the way at the other end. And the closer the student gets, the deeper this overwhelming, unnatural sense of dread becomes. Literally pushed to the brink, they yell out, "Who's there?" And just like that, the figure abruptly vanishes. Poof. Our protagonist breathes this massive sigh of relief and just bursts out the front doors. Section 2. The empty street. Fleeing the school, you'd think they'd be safe, right? But the paranoia only escalates as they enter what should be a completely safe, familiar space to just walk home. Normally, the specific street is bustling, people walking, cars going by. Even late at night, it's full of life. But tonight, strangely, it is completely empty. Not a single soul in sight. This unnatural void just completely amplifies the students' physical exhaustion and the hunger pangs from studying for 4 hours straight. They are drained, terrified, and totally alone. Looking down at the ground in sheer panic, the protagonist just wants to get home. Head down, walking fast. But then, a stretching shadow. They suddenly spot a shadow on the pavement, and it's extending towards them from behind. Now remember, they're on a completely deserted street. There's supposedly absolutely no one around. Yet this dark silhouette is actively stretching out right toward their feet. Absolutely terrified. Section 3, the twisted woman. Our protagonist finally looks up to confront whatever has been following them from the library, and what they see is an incredibly disturbing figure. Tattered, dirty clothes, messy hair, but the worst part, twisted hands and feet. She looks disabled, moving with this agonizingly slow, limping walk. Yes, the exact same limp heard earlier in the library. Because she's moving so slowly, our protagonist actually catches up to her almost instantly, and every single gut instinct is screaming at them to stay away, do not go any closer. But they're frozen in shock. The protagonist's brain just totally short-circuits. The twisted woman turns to the student and asks a really strange question. Our source material emphasizes that the student was so paralyzed by fear, they literally couldn't even form the words to answer her. In sheer, unadulterated panic, the student just points far, far away in the distance, desperately hoping the woman will just take the hint and leave. And remarkably, she complies. She limps away in the direction they pointed until she disappears from sight. But here is the crucial moment. The student is absolutely terrified she might come back, so they sprint down the street, desperate for a car, a person, literally anyone who can help. And right then, a horrifying, distant scream echoes through the night air. She is here. Right after hearing that blood-curdling cry, our protagonist loses consciousness entirely, just collapsing right out there on the street. Section 4. The Ghost of Eden Hill. To understand what the heck just happened, we have to look at the history provided by the neighbor who actually found the student passed out and brought them safely home. The lore traces back to a very specific year, 1998. This grounds the whole supernatural encounter we just dissected into a very real, incredibly tragic piece of local history. This brings us to Agatha. She wasn't just some random monster stalking the streets. In 1998, Agatha was a 32-year-old mother with a 10-year-old daughter who went to Eden Hill School. Agatha is a tragic figure, a woman so completely blinded by grief that she's now endlessly wandering the school corridors and the neighborhood streets, just looking for her lost child. Let's look at the origin of this haunting. Step 1. A 10-year-old is just playing with her friends at Eden Hill School. Step 2. A sudden, fatal accident occurs. Step 3. A grieving mother begins an eternal search. This mundane tragedy morphed into terrifying folklore. Agatha, unable to bear the pain, becomes tethered to the location. Knowing this completely recontextualizes our protagonist's encounter, doesn't it? That strange question on the street? It was almost certainly a desperate plea to find her daughter. And that terrifying final scream, "She is here," was likely Agatha's tragic, endless hope that she had finally been reunited with her little girl. So what local tragedies in your town are hiding behind the shadows when you walk alone at night? It's a heartbreaking realization wrapped up in a terrifying encounter. It really makes you wonder how many urban legends in your own hometown are actually just born from forgotten grief. Definitely a chilling thought to remember the next time you find yourself walking alone in the dark. Thanks for diving into this explainer with me, and keep questioning the shadows.